All right, welcome to the bottom of the barrel, where life can just pass you by, but only if you let it. And also where our video skills are terrible, but it's not worth not trying. So my name is Mud, and I work 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. Much of it is in gig work, but not all. I document it here and review those numbers so I can see where my biggest sources of waste are in my delivery process. I share that here with you guys so that you might be able to use it to improve your own delivery process. And hopefully we can all make more money together. That said, let's see what shakes out today. This is what I use to track everything. I have 0 views at this point on any of my videos, so if you're joining us today, well, you may be the first. But this here's the document I use to document all of my deliveries here. Each of these entries is a specific delivery or a stacked delivery like that. And I keep track of all the details about how long it took me, whether or not I had to wait at the restaurant, whether or not I had to struggle with getting it delivered to the customer for whatever reason. And at the very end of the day, usually throughout the day, I take care of these entries, and at the end of the day, before I make this video, I go ahead and get the details here so I can understand really where my time went and what my biggest issues are. So with that said, here's the overview. Again, my video skills are terrible, so you get to watch a screen recording of an Excel spreadsheet. What fun. Total orders were 27. Again, as always, most of them come from Uber. Got a few from Grubhub. Sometimes Grubhub gives me a good run, but DoorDash comes in with 0 as usual. I think they're just oversaturated with drivers at this point. Maybe that'll change, but I doubt it. I don't know how Uber manages to give me so many orders, and I reject a lot too from Uber. And these other 2 apps just don't give me nothing. Well, here's what it is. Anyways, total time I was out yesterday doing gig work was about 11 hours. Some break time in there, but very, very little. Total mileage was about 300 miles. Gross pay was about $220 per hour. That broke down to $20 an hour, which, that seems to be what I make these days, 20 to 22, doing this stuff. We're looking to figure out how to make that a little better. Gas was $20. Again, I fill up once a day. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. But yesterday was $20. Sources of waste. This is what I find interesting right here. Let's see if I can squeeze it all in. There we go. So sources of waste. Total time out was 11 hours. I had 6 minutes of break time. Really not a big deal. I think once I used the restroom and once I stopped for gas. If I have an active order and I have to stop for gas because I'm on empty, or I see a place that's just super cheap, I count that as break time because I have an active delivery that's making me money and I'm stopping for a few minutes. In this case, it was, I think, 4 minutes it took me, or 3 minutes to fill up. Very quick. But if I don't have an active delivery and all my apps are on waiting for orders, I don't count that as break time since I'm actively trolling. Trolling, as always, is the biggest time waster. About 3 hours of trolling out of that 11 hours. That's like more than a quarter. So that's really where I need to focus on improving, dropping down that trolling time. Waiting was a big one, with most of that time, again, being an order not ready. I'd like to break that out for you guys, maybe in another video, and just show kind of, how many orders I had that required waiting, and kind of what the bell curve would look like on that, and maybe I can see, there's specific restaurants that are really causing me a lot of grief. There are some that I've just stopped picking up from, like Walmart. It's always a wait and it's always very long. And so, I think once I break out some of these numbers into, see where exactly what's causing them, who's causing them, why they're happening, it might give us some ideas as to how to eliminate some of the heavier hitters. I had one customer that he wanted it delivered a certain way, and then when I got there to do that, he asked me to deliver it a different way, and that definitely wasted some of my time there. But it is what it is. Help was only 2 minutes, meaning the order was ready, but I couldn't get help from the employees. It's only 2 minutes, not bad. One thing I wanted to point out is that when you see that out of 11 hours of your day, only 2 minutes was wasted on waiting for somebody to help you, it makes it really easy the next day to just not get upset about that. And it's like, it's really helped me to, I'm kind of irritated by it when I can see the order and I just can't get anybody and it's out of my reach. If it's in my reach, I'll just grab it and go. Listen to them yelling at me on the way out, But if you're not going to help me, I'm going to do what I have to do to make money. I'm not stealing anything, and I'm not being rude to anybody. But I'm not going to sit there and wait to be acknowledged if I can see my orders ready and I can reach it. But not everybody takes that approach. But I'm not going to wait for somebody to help me. I'm going to do what I have to do. As long as I'm not doing anything that's hurting anybody or screwing anybody over, I'm going to do what I have to do. So that was it. Drive-thrus were pretty great. I pulled in, spoke to the voice box, whatever the hell it's called, and drove to the window and got the order. So, there was really no additional waiting at the drive-thru because of a drive-thru line. That was kind of a nice night. Failed orders, the second, third largest group of failures. Again, it was only 14 minutes. I had 2 of them. One was canceled by the customer, I think, and one was an already picked up. The already picked up was only 5 minutes, out of an 11-hour day. Altogether, it's 15 minutes out of an 11-hour day. At $20 an hour, what's that costing me? $5? It sucks. $5 over the month would be $150. Over the course of the year, what is that? $1,800. If I were to use that as down payment on the house at 3%, what could I buy? $1,800 would be a $60,000 house. There are some houses for $60,000, pieces of crap, but found one in the mountains near me that was a little under $60,000, like $55,000. So if I didn't have all those already picked up orders and just got an extra 5 minutes of work paid at $20 an hour every day for the whole year, I could have bought that $60,000 house in the mountains and just had a little cabin to get away to. So that's one way to look at this stuff, But again, it's only 14 minutes out of my day, so it makes it a little easier not to get upset. Not to get upset about things that slow you down a little bit, because really, out of all my sources of waste, 15 minutes out of roughly 4 hours. I mean, why would I get mad about that? I should be making an effort to eliminate trolling. So, anyways, that's really where all my waste is. Here's a section that I like. It's basically the theoretical limit of what I could have made today based on how the market was going. So, the actual cash that I made was $221 in 10 hours and 54 minutes. I took the break time out there. The total waste was 4 hours. It was 3 hours of trolling, an hour of waiting, and just 15 minutes of failed orders. So if I remove that waste and see, okay, well, I made $220 in 10 hours and 54 minutes, but if I remove the 3 hours and 58 minutes of waste, how much did I make per hour? Well, I made $31.88 per hour if there had been no waste. So if you scale that, well, I didn't work 15 hours on gig work because I was doing some other things, but if I would have just worked the full 15 hours, I would have made $300, which is kind of what I aim for every day when I can work the full 15 hours. But if I had no waste, if I could eliminate all the waste and just be active with no slowdowns all day long, I would have made $478. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's a beautiful number. kind of it motivates me to try and eliminate some of this waste. So again, the biggest one is trolling. So I'm onboarding with another app, which should it does pay better, and the only thing I don't like is it's pre-programmed catering orders, and so I don't really like that style, because I like to be able to turn the apps off if I gotta go take care of something else, or if I just want to go do something else. But if I have a pre-programmed order, then I kind of have to block out that time and show up. My car can't be dirty. I have to make sure I have certain things. Make sure I shaved that day. Of course, I haven't shaved for about a year. I got a massive beard, but yeah. So I'm just rambling at this point, but so that's that. I'm making efforts to reduce that trolling. Every day I'm kind of looking around for more gig delivery type apps, or similar, turn it on, take an order, turn it off when you want, that kind of thing. Hopefully we can have an impact on the trolling time. And that's about it for today. I think this video is long enough. So I guess we'll do it again tomorrow, and I'll see if I can maybe break out the trolling is where there's a problem. So I'll see, if I can get a little more detail on the trolling and what times of day are the worst. And maybe I can schedule some of my non-gig work activities for that time to try and reduce trolling a little bit. We'll see. We'll catch you guys tomorrow here at the bottom of the barrel.